Hey, have a good day. My life? If so, leave me a comment. But, yeah, leave me a comment if you can see me. Sorry I'm late. I was busy. And yeah, let me know if you're in the chat room. Leave me a comment. And let's do this. Let's do this live stream. Sorry I'm late. Again, excuse me. How are you guys? How are you doing? How's your week? How's your month? What's going on? Hey, thank you. Hi, Adele. What's up? I see you. I see you, Edson. Salam alaikum. Nice. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. And yeah, let's just see what happens today. On these live streams, I usually just kind of talk from my head. I have nothing prepared, just a few talking points, but today, nothing really. So let's just roll. And yeah, maybe you can let me know, where are you from? Because I always like to know who I'm talking to. So like, what's your age? Where are you from? And that kind of information is always useful. So yeah, maybe you can leave me a comment and I'm gonna highlight it on the screen. I still have this allergic reaction, so I might sneeze during the live stream. Hopefully you'll excuse me. Anyways, yes, so the title of today's talk is, Can Islam Solve the World Problems? So I want to focus on not just Islam as a faith, which it is. It's a way of life, it's a philosophy, it's a religion, but also it's economic system, it's a political system, it's a judiciary system. And many people, when they think about Islam, they think about those things. They don't really think about the religion first. So anyways, I would like to talk about how can Islam solve the civilization problems, the real societal issues, not the individual moral, maybe individual issues concerning, I don't know, lack of meaning and stuff like that. Netherlands is in the house. What's going on? That's very close. And yeah, I'm gonna also let you know what's gonna happen next week. So just so you know, I'm arranging a podcast interview with Yoram, who used to be a member of Dutch political party against Islam, and now he's a Muslim, and he's like creating this new VR startup for education, for Muslim education, and it's really cool. So we're gonna talk about his journey to Islam and the situation in Europe politically concerning Islam. And then also I have a podcast with Fatia, who's a Palestinian Muslima, and she lives in the States, I think, and we're gonna talk about the oppression there, man. So those are the things that are coming up next week. Salam from Vancouver. Vancouver is the best place on earth. No, I just love Vancouver, but man, you're so far away. I remember my times in Vancouver. It's really nice. I like it. Yeah, and feel free to shoot me any question, anything you want about me, about Islam, about Czech, Slovak, about whatever. In between. So I see some question. VM Mister said, in your opinion, do media in Czech and Slovakia is openable? That's not a word. Are open, I guess you wanted to say, to discuss about Islam. No. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, why would they be open or closed? Like, it's not a topic of discussion. It's your personal choice, right? So I don't know. I don't think like Islam or Christianity or any other religion is like a big concern to people anywhere. Like, we tend to have our own kind of fog in our head that people think you're an atheist, agnostic, or Muslim or Christian, but people don't categorize themselves like that. Like, most people that I know, they've never thought about the purpose of their life. They've never asked themselves what happens when they die. So they just live in this ignorance, and I think that's the majority of the people on this planet. They don't just go there, they don't ask those questions. What happens when you die? What's the meaning of life? Is there a God? Those things don't concern them. They are concerned with here and now, with money, with job, with something, and they are not really atheists or agnostics because they don't even think about those things. They are too caught up in the dunya. So I wouldn't, I think those people, that's the majority of people everywhere. So talking about Islam or stuff, why? Like, they don't really see the need to even bring up a religion or a God or nothing. We already have our world here. We're gonna die and that's it. They don't really thinking through. So I think that's the majority of people. Anyways. What was I saying? Yes. Can Islam solve the people's problems? Yeah, Joran van Klaren. I know him. Should be interesting. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And this girl, this Palestinian refugee. Then I have another one. Um, there's a Muslim man coming who is an expert on Islamic Sharia in finances, and he's gonna talk about mortgages, taking out loans, and stuff like that. He's from Australia. Really good guy, and we're gonna have a talk in like 2 or 3 weeks, inshallah. So those are the podcasts coming up. Then I'm going to Turkey, so I'm gonna go of, and then I have like a 10-day vacation, so I'm not gonna be online for like almost a month, but I will be kind of posting here and there. Anyways, and yeah, I'm reading a ton of books in the meantime. I'm gonna do book reviews, I've decided. So I'm gonna have like a book review title, like now I'm reading Islam Between East and West, and it's a mind-blowing book. Mind-blowing book. And it was written in the 1980s, which is crazy. It still applies really, really well. And even if you're not from Europe, you will benefit from it because it's written by a Bosnian president and former president. And yeah, so I have a bunch of books I bought that I cannot go through at the same time. So I'm reading about Muhammad's early life based on really reliable sources. Then I bought a book on slavery and Islam from Jonathan Brown. Then I have a book about history of Islam from these Muslim scholars. So it's really a lot of books I'm buying. So I'm thinking like, hey, I may just do reviews because many people, there are no information about these books online. Usually just authors talk about them, but maybe I can do some knowledge transfer after I read some of them. Anyways. So that's the stuff I'm doing. So it's gonna be busy summer reading. I always try to read like 1 hour before I go to sleep. Yeah, so like 11, I I sit down and I read at least 1 hour. And within 1 hour every day, you get through like a book with that has 300 pages in like a week. So it's possible even if you're super busy. What are you guys doing? Are you reading? If you're not, you're missing out because all these info, like you can come up with, you can find some good insights and good ideas from videos online and YouTube things and stuff, and even good institutes and talks. But you will never go in depth, and it will never be sort of edited properly because the books have been reviewed many times, and the author had to go through many different versions of the book to really relay the information in a way where it would make sense for the reader. So the book is the dissected concept of the idea, the basis, and all the videos you see online when they talk about a certain book or something. These are kind of like add-ons or like different opinions on it, but the core is the book. So you have to grab the book at some point. Hey, that's what it is. Let me read some other thing before we go, and feel free to write me some questions about Islam and where do you see Islam applied in the civilization sort of society way. So how can Islam solve the world problems? Now, just an idea here, as we talked with Gabriel, that I had a podcast with, for example, homelessness. How can Islam solve that? Well, we have zakat, we have sadaqah, we have all these things. If we set up a fund, or some crowdfunding site for non-Muslims, because remember, there are more non-Muslims than Muslims, and those non-Muslims, some of them, they will be converting to Islam if they hear the message, like me. It may take a year, 10 years, or no, like 2 days, but the message of Islam is not for Muslims. It's for non-Muslims who need to hear it because they haven't heard it. It was misconstrued in media, and the best way to communicate that message is through the really the behavior of Muslims. But if you don't know any Muslims, like I don't know any Muslims before I converted, it's very difficult to get knowledge from YouTube or something. So if you see something in real world, like let's say no interest loans, sadaqah for homeless, and all these things, that they or like yeah, schools, hospitals built for non-Muslims, that will make a difference in this world. Because if you make a Quran school, this is not good for non-Muslims, it's good for Muslims. But we should think about the whole society. Islam came to fix the whole society, they didn't come to fix just Muslims. So what can we do? Brainstorm some ideas. We're gonna do a startup. Yeah, so that's something I'm just wondering, what do you guys think? Let me read some comments. I've read this one. Make a video of Czech Republic, Slovakia as the less famous nation of Europe. What kind of video you want? I'm not a travel kind of person. This channel is more about religion and Islam or philosophy or something like that. So if I talk about Czech Republic or Slovakia, it might be pretty strange. First of all, I'm not from Czech. I'm Slovak, so I should only talk about Slovakia. I can talk about living in Prague, but I can't talk about being in Czech or Czech Republic because they get offended. And I don't know what to say about Slovakia. Like video, it's just not something I see of value, to anyone. Less famous nations. Yeah, we are very small nations of Europe. That's why we were conquered many times. But maybe, inshallah, maybe in the future I'll do some vlogs or something. I'm going on a vacation, 10-day vacation in Slovakia through different towns and stuff, lakes, mountains. So maybe I'll shoot some stuff. I'll show you around. You should invite Asadu Allah Ali. Cool. I see a lot of people like tell me like you should speak to this guy or you should like have this guy on podcast. Like, do you guys know how to get people on podcast? Like, it's very difficult. It's not that easy. Like you email someone, they agree. Like these people are super busy. So it's not that simple that to get someone. But hey, I might look this up. I don't know this person, so I only invite people who I've heard from or I saw something about them. So I'll see if I'll invite this one. But yeah, it's good. He's got a good Islamic knowledge. Yeah, I'm trying to pull now different people, as I said, from different things, talking about finances, talking about gambling, talking about Palestine, many different things in the Ummah. So yeah, I'm from Libya. Libya's in the house. Ring composition, yeah. I haven't learned about it because I don't speak Arabic, obviously. So I can't learn about this, but I know what you mean. I know I've seen a few videos and images on it, and it's really interesting, but I haven't gone in depth in it. Salam alaikum. What's going on? Islam can solve all problems because it provides structure and discipline in your life, so you won't act on your thoughts and desires. Yeah. Well, here's the conundrum. So, what if you're a Muslim but you act on your thoughts and desires? What then? There are some bad Muslims, right? Or there are people who are not like immoral believers Muslims, and there are moral atheists or people who are atheists that behave better than Muslims. So it's not that simple. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But I'm more worried about Islam, like not worried, I'm more talking about Islam in terms of just like impact on society, not through individual moral kind of thing, spiritual thing, but like real world things like homelessness, we have war, we have racism, all these things. How do we solve it? That's something I'm really interested in. Community Dawah Hub, is that a solution? Yeah, I mean, I would love to build a Dawah kind of small center in Slovakia when I go back in a couple of years, maybe. And it would be really cool to just start very small and just educate people in a small town and just see what happens. It's very important that local people do this because otherwise it's always a problem, as you probably know. If today's system is best, then why there is such a great unequal in wealth, unequal in race and country? I think what you're saying, why there's such an unequal in wealth. So you're talking about economy, unequal in race. Everybody has a different race, so what is unequal about it? Inequality is normal. It's part of the system. So you can never have equality. Equality is communism, and that's evil. So you will forever have disparities between nations and people. You have rich and poor, good looking, bad looking. You can never have equal opportunity. Equal opportunity maybe, but not equal outcome. So the today's system is not like the best in terms of to deal with these kind of like social issues that we have, like racism, homelessness, and all these things. It's not designed properly. It doesn't incentivize behavior to help other people. Basically, it incentivizes different things. It incentivizes, like in China, they incentivize the community and the strength of a Chinese nation and China as a state compared to the individual. So they incentivize that. In here in the West, somewhere that you incentivize the freedom and the profit. So you're not really incentivized to help people on the street. Um, so yeah, it's all about incentive. And Islam's incentive is your hereafter, which is the best one, right? But you have to be convinced about it. So, anyways, Islam can bring unity for people. Can it? I mean, I'm sure it can, but look at the state of the Ummah today. Like, how many sects of Muslims are there? I don't think we're united at all. I think it's very dislocated. Like there should be just one Islam, but there's like hundreds, right? And this is what's confusing to me as a new Muslim. Like, I'm just sticking with the basics, but the unity I think it can bring when you're praying in a mosque and you have the basic value system the same. But that's talking about Islamic country. That's different. Let's think globally. Let's think big. How can Islam help the world? What can Islam do? Like, think about what Christianity did. They helped set up many charities, many, but not for Christians, for everyone. Many schools, universities are Christian universities. And those are not just for Christians. And so think about those things, like how can Islam help the world without just looking at Muslims? Is that possible? Let me know some ideas. Yeah, it would be cool to hear. Non-interest loans. Malaysia is leading globally in Islamic banking. Yeah, I would. I'm very curious to learn about the non-interest loans and how that works, because we see loans are a giant industry everywhere. Basically, everybody's taking out loans. I'm not just talking mortgages, but like loan for vacation, loan for that, loan for this. You're creating a lot of debt, collateral debt that like in 30 years you're gonna be dead from that. So insane things are happening and people don't really like see what's behind this. Like they buy like TVs and stuff on debt just because they want to satisfy their urge to watch something or to buy a computer or something. It just costs too much money. And yeah, these loans are horrible. Like, I don't know how people take out loans. It's pretty crazy. I wouldn't advise anyone to take out any loan, but I would be very interested to see how it works in Malaysia. Let me know, Ahmed, how does it work in a nutshell? Non-interest loans in Malaysia. Is it only for Muslims? Can a non-Muslim get it? If so, how? Because I want to get one. What I see, Islam provides solution from basic individual level towards community and community towards different groups of people, like poor, rich, governed people, and citizens. Yeah. One thing about Islam that's great is that when you're like in a mosque or somewhere, it doesn't matter who, like the imam can be like a janitor and the people behind him can be like business people or politicians. Like, it doesn't look at your status in front of Allah, which is great. But do you guys have any specific ideas? If not, we'll go through another topic maybe, because I have so many, like in my head, so many things I've been thinking about from different interviews I've done, and and stuff like that. I don't know what sort of content should I create next, except the videos. I've tried the weed video, um, and it seems like those topics are not really received as well as some other ones. So I have to really think about what I'm gonna create on this channel, and yeah, and whether I should go more in depth into, some Islamic things or something like that. You let me know. But yeah, I would like to look at some other things as well besides this one. How's your Saturday, by the way? Let me know. Just talk to me. Talk to me so that we can have a discussion. Um, yeah, one thing that I was saying is that people don't identify as atheists, and I've been really thinking about this for a long time now, for like hours. Today I had a trip in the woods again, as every weekend, and I was just thinking about, like, yeah, people don't identify based on religion or what they believe in anymore. Like, my mom doesn't think about what she's gonna do when she dies, or my entire family doesn't really concern themselves with that question, or what is the meaning of their life, or stuff like that. So that doesn't make them an atheist, because atheist thinks about that and decides that there is nothing. An agnostic says they don't know. But I would say this pool of people, they still operate under religious values and morality, but they just don't recognize it, and they live in this kind of blissful state of ignorance. And that's the most fascinating thing I've been thinking about lately, like how many of these people exist, especially in a country like this, where a ton of people, they say they're an atheist, but they are not really an atheist, because atheist doesn't exist. Atheism would mean that you would have to destroy the overall art, every music, every architecture, everything based on God would have to get destroyed so that you can live in a pure atheistic society, such as communism was trying to build. And even then, you wouldn't destroy it, because you would have historical context from your previous generations that would instill values into you that were old. So there's no such thing as atheism. You'd have to create like some sort of social experiment where you would put people on island from the moment they are born, and just like let them grow without any influence of religion, and that's not possible. So I don't think that actually exists. uh Anyways, yeah, I've been thinking about that lately. Also, the second thing I've been thinking about is the really paradoxical situation that sometimes you can have, let's say, a Christian or Muslim, somebody who identifies as a believer or a religious person, and they behave immorally, or they like they don't follow anything. So let's say they steal, they sleep with women, they do all these sins, but they say they're like following a religion or a religious. And then you can have an atheist who doesn't follow anything, but he's helping charities, he's helping people, he's doing good deeds. So like, how crazy is that? And I'm reading in this book, Islam Between East and the West, about this paradox that exists in today's world, where you have people who have morality based on religion, but they don't act on it. And then you have people who have morality based on atheism, but technically coming from some religious background, from early religious history, and they act righteously. I'm very curious to learn, what do you guys think about this? How would you go about this? But this is something I've been thinking about a lot. And those are fascinating topics, because people say all the time, like, I'm just a good person, why should I go to hell? Yeah, so let's see, what do you think? And yeah, that would be excuse me, that would be great. Salam alaikum, Dr. Somi. People go to religion when they are suffering. Do you mean people who were not religious before, or like regular, let's say, Muslims, Christians, who then go to religion more when they have some trauma? Because I know cases where, let's say, somebody died and they turned back on the religion and they just don't follow it anymore because they can't comprehend the death of their loved one. And why would God allow this person to die? What is God punishing them? Obviously, they don't then have the right concept of the dunya, but people do those things. West is so materialistic without them even knowing average man just lives life trapped in a consumer world. Saram Babar. Oh, yeah. You have different levels though, different levels. So like people here, they are way less materialistic, even though it's getting a bit out of hand now. Well, then people, let's say in like Western Europe, and then people in the US and Canada, it's a completely different ball game because you can even like not draw. You can drive your car on the street, or you can just drive on the city in a city. I used to live in different states in the US, and I've been to Canada, and you can just see a ton of commercials, ton of things. Everybody's just trying to make money of this free market economy, and it's just unfortunate, like the amount of consumerism and like the disrespect to nature, not nature, but like to overall everything. Like nothing matters, just money and profit and building economy. Like what? So that's pretty crazy. But here, like people get twisted because we have freedom and we can do many things now. So people are obsessed with it, of course. But there are still many people who identify more with spirituality, with religion, and with things like that. Um, but yeah, the more eastern you go, the less materialistic you get things. But then look at Dubai, man. What's going on there? Or what did those Arabs do? They are so materialistic. They're more materialistic than the West. Or look at Saudi, right? Like look at them. What did they do? Like it's not just West. Everybody's trying to get some money in this game. So I think that's kind of the natural state of the world. It's not just the West. But I agree with you that it's getting out of hand. And people don't really understand that there's different meaning to their life than just being trapped in this economy forever. Anyways, would they still be called Muslim or Christian? I think you're referring to if they don't practice or they don't do those things. Well, look, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Just like cultural Christian, cultural Muslim. Like, take an example. A Muslim who prays, they pray 5 daily prayers, but then they go out and they kill people and they rape someone, but they still pray. Are they Muslim? Because they are fulfilling their obligation, right? But so is that Muslim better for the society than like some atheist who helps people, right? Very difficult. I don't think they are technically then Muslim if they are like not practicing but just coming from that background. Hello. Hassan, what's going on? Islam generally discourages loans without extreme necessity because it creates debt with the Prophet sought refuge against from Allah from falling into debt. But yeah, but do you understand why? Because it's like I know so many people in my family also, very close family, who destroy their lives through these loans and debt. Uh, and it's pretty unfortunate because it looks like, oh, there's so much, I have so much time in the future, but the debt keeps growing and growing, and pretty messed up. So I think this could work, interest-free loans. I don't know how this could work for non-Muslims because they would definitely be interested. Like, can I get a loan with no interest? Great. This is how you have to hook them up. And then you need to give them something like they need to give you something like, yes, we will give you the loan, but do something. I don't know what. So yeah, those are great things. If Islam can solve the problems of society, that would be great because people could see like Islam works, let's be part of it. Like racism. Islam can solve racism, but Muslims are racist because I know that Muslims treat white reverts differently than black reverts, which is unfortunate, like such a ridiculous thought. And so yeah, racism isn't allowed, and that's great, and people don't know that like Islam already figured out racism very long time ago. Anyone can take non-interest loans, Muslim or non-Muslim, it doesn't matter. But the biggest problem is that the people, especially non-Muslim, don't know about these things in the first place. I never knew about this. Because there are no banks like this here. I think it's only in Islamic countries. I actually had an interview this week with a guy from United Arab no, from Jordan, and he worked in a Dubai Islamic bank. I was interviewing him for my company, and just by very coincidence, he was a Muslim, like very big beard, name Mohammed, but just real coincidence. And I didn't tell him I'm Muslim because it would be biased. I can't be biased in interviews. But I just was asking about this. Yeah, like he worked in a bank in Dubai and was also selling these loans. Like, how did that work? Uh, so yeah, if this could, if this would be possible to set up, that would be crazy. If someone who really understands how those loans work in a non-Muslim country, that could blow up in a good way. Or the Muslim that does not believe in the Day of Judgment. Yeah, or a Muslim who doesn't believe in angels, doesn't believe in jinn, or a Muslim who doesn't believe in many things. Like, as a Christian, I didn't believe in anything, so I wasn't really a Christian. I believed in God, but nothing else. Salam alaikum. Hey, thank you. I am already married for a month. It's been a long time already. Thanks, Sabina. Children, we have time. Maybe in 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. Yeah, we were discussing like when should we have kids, and we're like, I don't know. We still have some time. We want to travel, go see some Bosnia, go see some Turkey, go see some Muslim stuff, go see some islands. I need to get knowledge. I need to make bachelor's degree in Islamic studies so that I can convey the message, and then probably set up here. I don't know. That's the plan. Person who lends someone without interest is actually rewarded half a charity. And as long as the debtor doesn't pay back, the lender is getting rewarded. I'm not sure I understood this. I will have to go through it once more then. I don't understand, how can somebody be rewarded half a charity? Who gives them the charity? And as long as the debtor doesn't pay back, the lender is getting rewarded. Who's paying the charity? The bank? Who's paying the charity? Let me know. I want to know how this works. When Islam came towards individuals, Islam tried to fix more on character of that individual. 5 poisons individual only act upon, which is drug, sexual interest, and gambling. Drugs, nice. Yes, yeah. I mean, I know. For me, I never had problems with gambling. Only a few times, but it was just like when I was in Las Vegas, just gambled for a few hours, but not really gambling. Interest, never took out a loan. It's the dumbest thing ever. It makes sense sometimes, like in a capitalistic society, if you're doing business, you have to take out loans to buy businesses or to get money, to raise money, so then you can sell it again and make profit. So, but this is like getting into these schemes, Ponzi schemes, and you're really messing up the system, right? Sexual immorality, yes. Drinks, drugs, true. Yeah, Islam fixes those things, but the problem with this is this will never be accepted by people because people are dependent on those things. So you can't get them through that. Maybe like very minority, maybe like someone like me who was actually looking for Islam or looking for God. I was figuring out like what can be the thing that is the truth. But there's not many people like that. As I said, most 99% of people are ignorant, and there are some atheists, agnostic, Christian, Muslims, Buddhists. But most people here are ignorant. They don't think about those things. They don't really question those things. They don't want to know about God. Even if you tell them, they don't want to hear it. There's a guy who's singing here about Jesus every day on the corner. Every day he's singing songs. Everybody hates him. Everybody hates him. And he's singing about Jesus because it's like pushed on them, right? They hate it. So I think the way you get them is like giving them real benefit. Like, look, Islam can give you free loan, free no interest loan. Or if you're homeless, you will get a free meal and a night at this shelter and a free copy of the Quran. Or you can do like a deal, like, but you have to read a first surah of the Quran or something, right? And then they can start picking up these things and really improve their life. because many homeless people are addicted to drinks and alcohol and all those things. So those are the ways you actually fix the society, and then people see like, oh, Islam really works. That was my case. I saw how Khabib Nurmagomedov actually behaves, and how his society in Dagestan in Russia is set up, where they value the elders. He actually lived with his mother and grandparents in the same home. Like, whoa, that's strange. What a respect for elders. Or no drinks, no alcohol. Or being with family, women are covered, like, and then learning about these things, like, that made me intrigued and seeing the real implications of Islam. It wasn't about the loan maybe, but now maybe about the loan, somebody, maybe that will be the first thing that says like, this is interesting, why is Islam allowing these loans, like, let me look into that. That looking into that will change his life forever. Or someone looking into, oh, homeless shelter, well, let me look into why are they doing this, what's behind this. Boom, they'll get the knowledge there. So you have to kind of create an interest, like, what's going on here, why is, right? Because to really go and talk about Allah, and then talk about the 5 pillars, and then talk about why do women wear hijab, we're going way too advanced. This has to be taught to someone who's already interested in Islam, or who is already open to considering God, or maybe they are like on the opposite side of the argument, maybe they're an atheist, still somebody who thought about those things. So those are good conversations, but most people have never thought about those things, or I never thought about God. I never thought about God for 16 years since I left my Christian background. I never even entered the idea of God until I heard Mike Tyson and Khabib and all those things. I was like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there had to be the cause of the causes to create a Big Bang or something. And then I started to think about it. But I never kind of thought about God. And nobody would convince me that there is one, or that I need to really study it. It's just because of the conduct, morality, and the behavior of these people. So that's what we need to do to help the people in this ummah, in this world. Sorry, I was ranting. Oh, I see some comments. Nice. With all the respect, but believing in angels is part of the Islamic faith. Yeah, it is. You have to believe in angels, believe in the Quran, believe in the Day of Judgment, believe in jinns, believe in predestination, the qadr of Allah, right? All those things. Happy to show you guys around Sarajevo when you come here. Let me know. Oh, really? Nice. We will be in Sarajevo, inshallah. Oh, I'm so looking forward. I'm reading Ali Izetbegovic, Your President's book, and just looking at Bosnia very heavily. And I'm actually gonna have a podcast episode specifically about Bosnia with Dr. Steph Keris that I've done on the history of Islam in Europe. We're gonna have history of Islam in Bosnia only, and I'm just fascinated with Bosnia. So, but you have no sea, guys. What happened there? Just a very small piece of sea. So we'll go to Croatia for some dipping in the sea. The Prophet actually predicted the downfall of the Ummah. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, not very positive outlook. Allah will reward the lender. Oh, okay. So this then doesn't apply to non-Muslim because they don't believe in Allah. So how would we not fix this, but how could we do this differently? I don't know. Jennifer, what's going on? I live in Texas. I have one Islamic bank here in North Texas, as far as I know. So I think Muslims are trying to contribute to society here. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard in Texas there's so many Muslims there. You have the Yakin Institute, you have Omar Suleiman, you have Daniel from Muslim Skeptic, even Talib from the Hamid family. I think he's from Texas as well. So many Muslims I know are in Texas. And it just seems like you have a great community there. And if you have an Islamic bank, that's awesome. Yeah. So it seems like from what you're saying, maybe I'm wrong, the Islamic bank works on the reward system from Allah, but this doesn't apply to non-Muslims. So how could this work? Let me know. Can anyone hear me? Hey, Mangio, yes, I can. Stefan is here. Islam to solve the world problem. Is Sharia the ideal solution in Islam? We can have a look at the Muslim countries. So, Stefan, I think you're coming from the idea that you don't think Islam can be a solution to world problems, which is fine. Islam's Sharia is different in every country, and it's not really, it's different in every country and different parts of Sharia. So, which Sharia are you talking about? And first of all, do you know what Sharia is? So let me know, what is Sharia and which Sharia is applied where? Because if you're looking at Muslim majority countries, what are you talking about when they implemented it already? We can have a look. What can we have a look at? What statistics? What are you talking about? Do you want to have a look at the number of drug addictions, or what are we talking about? Because that's the most important. Let me know. Islam gives meaning and importance to life. Without faith, life isn't worth living. I agree, but most people are ignorant. This is not going to work, but great point. It was said, will it be because our small number? No, you will have a large. Yeah. Exactly. I've heard this one. But I've heard also that at the end of times, the Ummah will be large. So let me know, what do you think about that? Hey, thank you, Magio. What's going on? I'm an atheist. Can you prove to me God, Allah exists? Can I prove to you? Yes, you exist. Haha. Do you exist? Tell me. It's getting dark here. So if you exist as a human being, and let's say you exist, you wrote this comment. I mean, this is such a deep question, but just simply, you exist. Do you believe there's a difference between you and any other material object in this universe? Or do you believe these are just molecules set up in some space and they just created you? So you are not different than animal, you're not different than this piece of tissue. We're all just molecules, right? Obviously, we see the difference. Human being has a free will. We have choices that we can make. We are moral creatures. We have these thoughts about morality, like what's good and bad. Animals don't have that. We can decide how our life is going to look like, at least in some way. We have these thoughts about the natural world, like how did this come to be? Where am I going? What is the end of my life going to look like? What happens after I die? Animals don't think like that, nor this box of tissues. This has a purpose. This has a designer. Everything in this room was designed. Everything was put together perfectly. And then if we look at the state of the universe, we can conclude that, okay, there's some sort of fine-tuning happening where on Earth we have this great life, but we don't seem to find it anywhere else. Of course, the universe is almost infinite, but we know through science there was a Big Bang. So therefore, you can conclude, okay, if we have a Big Bang, that's the beginning of the universe. You can't have infinite cycle of universes. There had to be the beginning, which is the Big Bang. So who initiated the Big Bang? Now, here the atheists would claim, okay, it was a random event and it just came from nothing. So now we have to look at that option and see, can something be created from nothing? At least in DC universe, it doesn't look like that. So what's more likely? That something that is not part of the universe has created the universe and everything in it. So it was the first cause, because if you believe that every object in this universe had a cause, like this pill, this is my allergy pill, they had a cause, like somebody made these things, and then the things that they made something, and so everything like that goes back the causal chain until one cause, one major cause. We can call it Big Bang now, but the singularity didn't come up from nothing. You cannot have nothing create something, and then that something actually creating consciousness and awareness about that nothing. Now we're thinking back to that moment, like how can this make sense? So it makes more sense. It's more rational to conclude that there is a creator who initiated these causal chain. And so that's my argument. Hope that helps. blah 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 blah. Also, you exist. Like, are you just random thing in the universe? Did you just come up from nothing? From there was a point in time where you didn't exist, so then you came into existence, and now you are living life. But how did that happen? You were created from nothing. So yeah, it's pretty messed up. Let me know, what did you think? And let me know if you can prove to me that God doesn't exist. Or please tell me, how did you don't have to prove that. Tell me how else do you explain the expansion of the universe, or the creation of the universe? And I don't accept multiverse theories or string theories or all these nonsense. Just like tell me, how can a causal chain go infinite? Because we know this universe had a beginning, so it didn't have infinite causal chain. There was a beginning. Tell me. Cool. Salam alaikum. What are some other ways Muslims can raise the interest of non-Muslims that the ones you already gave before giving da'wah about Allah? Yeah. No, this will never work. I'm talking like real honestly. Like no one wants to hear about Allah. No one wants to hear about Muhammad, peace be upon him. At least in Europe or the US, I guess, until they realize that there is something deeper going on, that this world is not the real world, this is a simulation. You have to talk to them like in these terms. They have to realize that they have dreams, that there's these things going on. You have to make them think. Before bringing up anything, you have to make them think. Even God, even Allah or whatever, just really make them think about like, okay, tell me this. How do you know what's good and bad? Or what is you? What is the soul? Are you the physical body? Or what are you? The consciousness? How did that happen? Like, make them think. Give people biryani. Is this a food, biryani? Let me know. Saram Bamar. I believe there will be always world problems with or without Islam. Of course, I agree. If we solve one problem, there will be another one. Life's a test from God, and Islam tells us how to deal with them. True. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna build a utopian kind of communistic society where no problems occur. Of course, problems will forever happen in this dunya. But these things, such as alcoholism, gambling, suicides, mental health, interests, all these things, they can be sort of limited in scope so that they are not out there, or promiscuity, so it's not out there. Like, people will still find ways to get them if they want to. They can still get those things, they can still get drugs, they can still get with women, but it's not being promoted on every street, on every corner. So as a society, we can kind of heal that part of it. What do you think about that? Let me know. Okay. Badmash, are you Hindu atheist? Hindu atheist. I don't know why so many people have these Hindu atheism going on. One of the fascinating things about Islamic banking system is that they buy the house in the name of the bank and take rent in the form of EMI without any interest, which I think is really good. I've heard about startups from the US who do this, where they buy like 100 homes for $100 million, and then they rent it out as well, and they hold the money and kind of are a mediator in between a bank and the guy who's renting. But good stuff. If you guys are in banking or finances, let me know. Nice. Proving God through your atheistic materialistic spectacle. Come on. I have heard some people will heard the message, I know it's true, and reject it, and they are hiding and insincere with these responses. How would we know they properly received the message? I don't know, man. A woman, sorry, Jennifer. But yeah, I mean, like, My wife is still a Christian and she knows about Islam. Like I can't change those things. Like my family knows. It's they have to, like it's in Quran as well. Like you have to know, like you have to be open to these things. You have to try to learn about it. If you don't really look for spirituality in your life, or if you don't really need God in your life, which many people don't, at least it looks like that, but they are not looking for anything like that, they won't find him. uh, so same for me. I wasn't looking for any spiritual fulfillment. I thought it's all nonsense. So yeah, it's not that you rejected, you're just kind of like ignorant about it. And yeah, and also Islam is portrayed badly on the media, so pretty tough. I really enjoyed the Greek professor, very knowledgeable, nice guy. Looking forward. Yeah, exactly. Bosnia is in the game. May Allah bless you and your family. May Allah bless you. La. Islam does not permit interest but permits buying. Islamic banking are permits to invest in people's businesses and gain profit from it. From that profit, they buy goods and sell again. Nice. SubhanAllah, I have to learn about this. Those are great stuff. Very well said about existing of God. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with existence of God. Like, it's pretty clear. Like, if you reflect on your creation, and if you reflect on the creation outside of you, and really reflect without any bias, you will come to conclusion that there was a first mover, or that you're just too complex for this to be random. Why do I have 5 fingers and you have 5 fingers? Why don't you have 7? Why is natural selection and evolution perfect in that sense, if it's random, right? Islam is the only system that offers humanity practical solutions. Those against is profit from evil and vice. That's the thing with Islam. Like, it offers these solutions to the world, like the banking and stuff, and marriage laws and stuff. Christianity doesn't have any of that, or Buddhism, or none of these other kind of systems. They are not really systems in law or politics. They are just like religion. But Islam is way more, and that's why it's so fascinating. And sometimes I struggle with the idea of, like, man, this is really complex, this Sharia, let's say, for I don't know, divorcing or marrying someone. And it's just like, that's crazy, right? That it's so practical. It's so practical. And it's also the most spiritual thing you can ever find. Ahmed, Dr. Steph, yes, he's great. Yeah, Islamic history is pretty crazy. You guys should definitely look into that. Okay, God exists, but why is he different from me? What? So you've accepted my argument that God exists, but now you're asking why is he different? So that was enough to convince you? So what was your position then? You tell me. But why is he different from me? What do you mean he different from you? Like, what do you think, you are a God, or what do you think he's different from you? I don't understand. Maybe you can tell me more. I would be happy to learn what you think. If say about rich and poor, do you know that only Islam recognizes the poor people? I really recognize them and ask the rich to spend their money in charity. Not really. You have Christians who do that as well. So you see, this is kind of like, you have to be careful. Christianity has more charities than Islam, for sure, at least here in Europe. And you really are encouraged to spend money. It's not zakat and stuff like that, but it is encouraged to help the needy and poor as well. And they're doing some great work. So we can never kind of just like say, oh, this is nonsense. No, there's some good stuff going on there. Anyways, but yeah, I agree. Like, you have to spend money to help the poor, and it's an opportunity for you to do good deed. So you're incentivized. Like, when I see a homeless guy or somebody and you give them money, you're incentivized to do that as a Muslim, because you are gaining some points in the Akhirah for the Day of Judgment. And as a non-Muslim, you're not getting anything. You're not getting anything. Mashallah, I was just thinking about one thing my grandma said. She is a Catholic, and her father, my great grandfather, he was like I never met him, but she said to me she's very old, she's like 80, but she said to me like, when I talked to her about these things about Islam and stuff, she said to me like, you sound like my father. Like the only thing he used to say to me all my life was that when you die, you're going to take nothing from this world except your good deeds. And this is how I try to live. And you seem to have the same message. And I said, MashaAllah, my great grandfather had the message. He had the pill. He was a Christian, but he had the pill. There was no Islam there, not even online. But it was so great to hear that, like, man, I'm kind of connecting to my great grandfather in a way where we're both aware that like this dunya is nothing and there's just good and bad deeds, and it's all you're carrying with you in the hereafter. And it's just emotional stuff. Wikiman jihad without problems, world will be heaven. Yeah, I mean there will never be peace forever, but as I said, the purpose of our life is to establish deen in our life, deen in others, and if possible, deen in society. So we improve the overall condition of this society. We don't improve it by being negative or killing people. We improve it by improving the conditions. So health conditions, alcohol, drugs, people not getting in loans, people being held responsible for their actions, sexual immorality, all these things can be solved, at least partially. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your individual responsibility. What's this? The reality is that 2% who control half of the global wealth use capitalism, communism, democracy, socialism, gun control, pressure wolves to control the bottom 90. And so what? That's always been the case, man. That's always been the case. That's the nature of the world. You have hierarchies. So the money will always be attracted to more money. So they produce more money. The investment will always... Warren Buffett makes this claim, well, not claim, but like when you invest, you have not interest rate, but you have this compound interest. It comes on top of each other. So these billionaires, there will always be more billionaires, and there will always be more poor people. It can never be brought together because it's too far out of each other. Money attracts money, and poverty attracts more poverty. So, yeah. Hey, there's always been those who control and those who doesn't. But this, for you, it doesn't matter. If you're a Muslim, this doesn't really matter because no one controls you. You have your own internal world and you know the truth of the matter, and Allah knows best. So as a Muslim, you can look at someone who's a janitor and say, that's a successful person. Maybe that person is the person of Jannah. And you can look at someone who owns a bank and say, like, this person is the person of Jahannam. So who's successful really? For a Muslim, it's really difficult, right? We're not just looking at material things, democracy, socialism, climate change. All these things are pointless for a Muslim. For a real civilization that we talk about now, worldly issues, yes, they are important. But like, from your point of view, what's the point of hating on these things? Like, you already know what's gonna happen. Man, it's getting conspiracy style here. How this world is controlled by the elite. For me, it made me believe that they are directly worshipped Satan. I think it's a bunch of bull crap. I don't think it's true. I think there are definitely some elites, but it's natural to form friendships at that high level. So like, I can see it on a very low level. Like, let's say I'm an entrepreneur, so I know other entrepreneurs. That's by association, because I don't want to hang out with someone who's not an entrepreneur, or like I want to hang out with them in the business sense kind of, but they don't add value to me. Like if I spend a day with software developers, I have nothing in common with them, or marketers. So I'm going to hang out with entrepreneurs. And then so like if you're a billionaire, of course you're going to hang out with billionaires, like because you can't really talk to millionaires anymore. They're not on your level. And so that's kind of how it goes. And so they kind of go together. And the Satan things, I mean, there were things like the Epstein Island and stuff where they were molesting kids and doing all that stuff. So there's definitely some truth into this, but majority of people, I think, you know, kind of avoid those things. But there are some trickeries. But you will have to speak to someone who's a part of the elite, and I'm not. I'm not part of the elite, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't think they're directly worshiping Satan. I just think they're doing some crazy stuff. But again, to you, it doesn't matter. Truth seeker, you already know the truth. So what are you worried about? Just be cool. Allah is a provider of risk. He knows what certain people only get rich and most people are not rich. Yeah. How can I get peace, or can I ever get peace? I lost my close one yesterday. I'm disturbed. I just want peace. SubhanAllah, is this truth? How can so Mangio is asking, how can I get a peace if you lost someone? And this is like oftentimes a big question for people, either who believe in God or who doesn't. So as Muslims, this is different because as Muslims, there's no such thing as accidents. So that was planned, and the idea of evil is really difficult for to comprehend, because all those goods and evils come from basically God, like all those attributes or opinions on those things. So to really how you deal with the death of a loved one is difficult. As an atheist, you have a problem because you don't have anything to kind of guide you through that. As a Muslim, I never had to experience that yet. But if I will, I know it's a qadr from Allah. It was decided. I have nothing. It's nor good or bad. It's supposed to happen. And you have to think of it in Islamic terms. For example, is that, let's say that person was taken away at the age of 25 and they had a car accident and they died. And you think it's horrible, and of course it's a terrible tragedy, and of course. But then maybe in that state of 25 years old, they were, let's say, a better human being than what they would be at the age of 50. Okay, so if they lived until 50, morally, or let's say, since we believe in the since we believe in the hereafter, the point is you will be judged for your deeds, for your good or bad deeds. And since this person had more good deeds at the age of 25, Allah took him away so that he can be judged and go to paradise. Otherwise, if he let him live, he would maybe ended up in Jahannam, which is hellfire. This is one way how you can look at it. And in that sense, it does make sense that this is actually, in some way makes sense. But there's many arguments you can make about that, or many ways to look into this. So guys, go in the comments and let me know, how do you deal with the death of a loved one as a Muslim? That would be great. How can a person in their 40s that had no prior similar activity in life come up with a holistic system? Good question, Zakaria. You're asking me. I know how Gabriel came to him, but in terms of, this is just one way to look at it as well. Like, how can Muhammad, peace be upon him, came up with all of this if he was illiterate? He never knew these things. Like, there are things in the Quran he could never know. So just looking at it unbiasedly tells you, like, okay, he is not the author. Like, he is just the messenger. He has a big channel called Ilm al-Lim. Okay. It's not a job of the religion to solve the problems of the world. Lol. I agree with you, but Islam is not a religion only. It's also a political system, judiciary system. So that's why we're discussing this. What I mean is we can't know what in people's hearts. Only Allah knows. Yes, that's what I mean. They have to be open. Exactly. Allah is the turner of the hearts, but your heart must be in the right condition. So I opened my heart and Allah allowed me to receive the message. But of course, it's all from Allah. But if I didn't decide to look for Allah, it wouldn't happen. Subhanallah. Indeed, peace is found in the remembrance of Allah. Yeah, of course. This is like the best thing, right? Yes, sorry for your loss. Stay strong. Yes. Give us some advice, guys. How do we deal with the loss? Yes, Jennifer, I agree. I think the guy which talks about how he's different from him, Allah, how is different from the person, is referring to the Atman Brahman thing in Hinduism and the nature of man and God, but this doesn't affect whether it's Islam. I don't really know what that means, so sorry, I can't really help you. Because they ask you about the Ruh, tell them that the Ruh is God's matter. So very approachable, I think. Here, maybe. Blogging theology. Man, I'm getting a lot of requests, and maybe. But I want to talk to people who are, or Suguria. I've talked to him. Again, you have to understand these people are busy. They don't have time, all of them. And it's not that easy. So don't think that people just want to go on your podcast. It's more difficult than that. But yeah. Only if there were a choice to people to live under a system they wanted to and accordingly create countries based on that, even if Muslim, there will always be someone accepting of Sharia. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But people don't know what system they should live under. That's the problem. Because they don't know what's good for them. You should check up on super scientific arguments. I know. I've heard him. Bad match is involved with the problem of evil card. What's happening here, guys? Walter is here. No, he couldn't, but thanks. Oh, thank you, Walter. But guys, thank you so much for this live stream. It's been 1 hour and 7 minutes. We had plenty of discussion. And I think we got a lot of good ideas. But yeah, let me know. What's your name? Mangio. Hopefully, I mean, mashallah, hopefully you'll be fine. And try to find out more online about the problem of evil, or try to look up, like, in Islam, what does it say when your close one dies, and how to deal with that. So hopefully this will give you a better sense, because I just explained it poorly. There's better people who can explain it, and most people in this comment section didn't really explain it. So hopefully it will be explained, and you can find some solitude even if you're not a Muslim. Yusuf ponders. Yeah, Yusuf. Answer my final question. So what's your final question? Is this the question? Give it up, bad mesh. Oh, yeah, but like, what do you mean? Is this the final question you want, or what? I just said that I am not the best to answer it. So if you want, you can Google it around. Is this the question? Do you have another one? Anyways, I guess that was the question, and I gave you the answer. So hopefully you'll get it. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this. It was really lovely. As always, Saturday, 5 p.m. Central European time. We'll catch up. And yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Assalamu alaikum. And we'll be in touch. And look forward to some new videos next week. See you guys later. Nasty boy. Naughty boy. All right. See you guys. Thank you.